guys, Jonah here, and today I've got for you every single Flex Stack Pack box that's available in the UK, and there's a huge range that are now readily available, which is pretty exciting. This box here, I had to fly all the way to the States a couple of years ago, back in 2022 when this thing launched. I wanted to get my hands on it, make some shadow foam inserts for it, and pretty much get a first look at it, and it was a mammoth task to fly over to the States, ship this thing back, but it's now all readily available. And in this video, I'm going to be going through all of the amazing features, interesting quirky design choices Flex have gone for that make this system stand out from the other modular toolbox systems. And I'm going to show you how to organise the best-selling Flex tool on the market in the UK. This thing is a beastie. Get your comments down below what you think that is. So this video is everything you need to know about the Flex Stack Pack system, including all of my favourite features and design points from Flex, including what I would say is a couple of areas of improvement, a couple of negatives that could do with looking at, and finally we can talk about the price and where you can get this thing. But before that, let me tell you about my brand new tool selling website, topnotchtools.co.uk. So as you know, I travel the world hunting quirky, unusual tools, and quite often I find stuff from around the world that isn't available in the UK. And those tools are all coming to topnotchtools.co.uk. So we've had Magnum, a cool brand from Finland. We've had Rapid Edge tools from Canada. I've just added our first round of dynamite deals. And these are some amazing tools at prices that beat the whole market. What have we got on there? Well, we've got Tracer. This is a UK brand with some really cool products, mechanical pencil, refills, in a nice little pack at a price that can't be beaten. We've also got an 8-piece smart multi-tool kit. This also cannot be beaten in price. We've got this 2-weight self-striking punch at about £2.99 right now on our dynamite deals page. We've also got one of my favorites that has lived in this wall behind me for a long time, and that is a made in USA S-ring pry bar. It's a thing of beauty, this, and it is on topnotchtools.co.uk at the cheapest price in the UK on a dynamite deal. So head over to Top Notch Tools, get yourself a bargain, grab yourself some cool tools from around the world, and let me know in the comments any tool brands you'd like to see in the UK, you'd like to see us bring to the UK market. But we've had so many European viewers asking about getting these shipped to them. We've had to add European shipping, and we've got great price on there too. We've got a great deal with UPS, and we get these sent over to you at great rates. So wherever you are, if you're in the UK or in the EU, get yourself over to topnotchtools.co.uk. We'll put a link in the description and grab yourself a dynamite deal. Right, with that being said, let's get back to the Flex Stack Pack. So let's start by looking at the triple box. This is where most people start with a modular toolbox system. They'll get the triple here, so you've got the rolling trolley, the medium box, and then they call this the briefcase on the top. And the first thing I like is how solid and durable this box is. It's polypropylene, so it's like the standard toolbox material, but everything is designed in a way that it's going to be durable and it's going to last you. So let's start at the top and work down. The latching mechanisms, they only protrude a small amount and they're really solid. You can see they're not like a really flimsy catch. You can't see a really flimsy little spring in there. They're going to take a bang and not be damaged. You've got latches left and right, and they're like a metal solid latch, and then one reinforced locking point in the middle, which I really like. Some boxes will have two left and right locking points, which might be more secure, but it's two padlocks every single time, which can be a bit of a pain. But this has got one center reinforced latch. As you'd expect, all the boxes are IP65, so they're all waterproof, and they've got like this reinforced honeycomb lid. Nothing feels flimsy. The handles are nice and wide, got a nice feeling to them. And round the back, something else that can help you spot like a cheaper quality toolbox is this handle here. When it extends, kind of a cheaper box, you see a lot of movement in these. They don't feel very solid, but this one, it's a chunky solid handle with not much movement, and it kind of locks in place, goes back down, nothing feels flimsy. And another telltale sign to spot if a box is really decent quality and solid is the wheels. These are like a 9-inch rubber wheel that's inset into the box, so it doesn't make it much wider for going through doors, but it does protrude out the back, and that's to make it a little bit easier going upstairs, so you're not catching the bottom point. It's also got a nice solid kick plate on it too, so you can get the thing rolling. And on top of all those features, you've also got this nice little aluminium edge buffer here. So this is to attach all the accessories to, but it also functions as just extra strengthening on the corners, which, you know, is where you're going to crash into things really.
And now a word from our sponsor.
On this show, I'm always stood up, walking around or in the workshop on my feet, so I really appreciate a good sit down. And for that, I've got my FlexiSpot C7. This has been my office chair for the last year, and probably one of the most comfortable chairs I've ever had. It's got loads of adjustments. You can set it up perfectly for how you want it. You can set the arms forward and back, up and down. You've got adjustments on the lumbar support, on the seat pan, and it's this nice mesh fabric, so it conforms to you and is really comfortable. And it's got head support too. So the great chair, it's been specifically designed for tall blokes like me. I'm 6'4", 6'2", and this chair is comfortable from 5'7" all the way up to 6'9", which is quite a test really. If you're 6'9" and you can still find a comfortable chair, it's got enough adjustment in it for longer legs and a bit of a broader person. And if you're not happy with it, they also offer a 30-day no quibble return policy. So you can get one, test it out, and if you're not happy with it, you've got 30 days to send it back. I've had a few office chairs in my time, and I've had this one for the last 12 months, and I can tell you now, I'm sticking with it. It's a very comfortable chair, and I can set it up just how I like it, and it's a comfortable place to sit down after a long day of tool hunting. So check out FlexiSpot. We'll put a link in the description. Use the code C750 to get $50 off the chair at checkout. FlexiSpot also have a range of desks and loads of other stuff, so show them some love. The sponsors on these videos really help us to go further afield and find quirky tools from far-flung places. And with that being said, let's get back to the FlexBox. And that same level of durability extends to the organisers as well. So the lids are polycarbonate and they feel really tough. They're not flimsy. There's quite a lot of depth to them to make sure they're not just going to split and crack on you. These top connector points that allow you to attach half boxes, again, they're really solid. They take a little bit of force to get out, but you kind of want that because you want these to stand the test of time. You want them to take a bit of a bash. If you've got a half organiser full of screws and there's some weight to it, you don't want to have to delicately put it down, and nothing feels flimsy. Everything feels nice and solid, nice and sturdy, which is great. Inside, the plastic totes and the reinforcement in here, again, nothing feels flimsy. This box is IP65 too. The clear organisers don't have a reinforced locking point, but I don't think I've seen any toolbox systems that do. But you know, I don't think it'd be too hard to put a little steel ring in there, but I've not really seen that on any boxes, to be fair. And they all have the same metal latching system, left and right latches, although you can see that the full width organiser is a slightly smaller latch, although it's the same style. The main boxes have got the biggest, chunkiest latch, but they all clip down really tightly, and all of the latches really engage the seal, which is what you want, so happy days. And it's the same story with all of the boxes. I've had a good look round all the boxes, including the drawers, and they're all built tough. They're all solid. The drawers have got reinforced bottoms, the drawer runners feel really solid, and nothing kind of stands out to me as being weak and it's going to break, you know, quickly. But I'd say that's the bare minimum. It's got to be tough, it's got to be durable, and that's why I've put durability. Although this ticks all those boxes, it's really solid and I think it's going to last you a lifetime. I've put that in number 5 because it's got a lot more going for it than just being a solid old toolbox. So let's get into number 4. Number 4 is the accessories, which I do love, and they probably would be higher on the list if we had more of the range here in the UK, but they have set us up with a strong start here in the UK. And the way the accessories work is essentially you have these plastic corners that attach to the aluminium rail. You can see these little captive nuts that are in the aluminium corners, and these little plastic pieces screw on with a cap head nut and they lock on really solid, and then they allow you to attach either rails across the front or accessories across the front, accessories across the side, or accessories on the corners. And there's a couple of things that I really like. Now, we've only got 3 accessories. We've literally got a level holder, but you can move these and adjust these to have really long levels, short levels. Literally, you can have a torpedo level if you wanted it to. And then we've got a short level on the back. One of the little improvements I think Flex could have made here is they could have put a little captive nut in the middle of this back corner. I think that would have been an improvement. On the wooden tops that you can get, they have captive nuts on the corners, and I think that shows that they don't just have to have them in the aluminium rail. So if they'd have put another one here, it'd have meant that like bottom cup for the level holder could have gone a touch lower, or you could have had an accessory on the side of the bottom box, which I think would be an improvement. A bit of a miss, but there's not many misses on this box. Now, the other thing I really like is that when you attach a side rail, or you can see we've got the cable wrap here on the front, when you attach the cable wrap, it doesn't block the corner post, which I've seen that with other accessories on some other boxes. The accessories are great standalone, but they don't integrate as well with the other accessories essentially. But these ones really all work nicely together. The side rails are a bit of a highlight because they're solid, they attach really nicely, and they give you loads of options to attach things. Now, these are the long totes that came in the briefcase, but also the little totes that come in the organizer. They have a lip on the side, and they will literally mount to this rail, and they're quite solid. You know, I've seen this before where they have a tiny little plastic overhang. They do connect, but you wouldn't really want to put much weight in it. Whereas this one clips on and it's really solid, which I just think it's a great little attention to detail. It's a great way of making these totes a little bit more useful because you can free up the space in your box. It's also really useful for just hanging tools with kind of tool clips because they can just go on the side nice and easy, or a tape measure. And the other thing they've done is on the rail, it's not just 2 flat pieces of steel. They've actually put 2 radiuses in there, which I can imagine is for tools with wider clips, but also if you want to kind of drop some thick, heavy screwdrivers down there, you've got that option, so it's not just for really slim belt clips. Now the last accessory to mention is the Flex Stack Pack charger. This thing is pretty cool because it's a dual charger and it'll charge two 18-volt Flex batteries, but it can also charge their 12-volt batteries literally on the exact same thing, which I think, why don't all power tool batteries work like that? A lot of the 12-volt ranges, the Milwaukee 12 volts, are a totally different fitting and you need a different charger, whereas these 12-volt or 18-volt, they both go on here, and then the dual charger mounts really easily, basically like a half box. But not only that, it's also got a couple of clips on the back and it can mount to these side accessory rails as well. So you've got multiple options. You can have it out the way, build your stack up really tall, and then maybe if you want to plug it in and start charging, you can chuck it on the top. And again, that is just the starting point when it comes to Flex accessories, because we've only got the cable wrap, the side rails, the level holder, and the charger so far in the UK, but the range of stuff in America is massive, and the accessories are a lot easier to get shipped over than trying to go over there and get the big old boxes. So the accessories is number 4. Let me show you number 3. Number 3 is the range of toolboxes that Flex Stack Pack have launched here in the UK. They could have just launched the triple pack, maybe 1 or 2 other boxes, but they've launched everything you can see here. So we've got the triple pack, which is the briefcase, medium box and rolling box. We've got the garage cabinet, they call this, with the lift up lid, and you can mount this on the wall. It makes quite a good bottom box, so you can access it and you're not having to lift boxes off. They've got 2 drawer options. You've got the triple drawer and the double drawer, but one of them is a double deep drawer, which is great for deeper tools like a circular saw. Will fit in there quite nicely. We've also got the wooden top, which is pretty nice. It's a lovely flat surface with nothing protruding up above the top. Sometimes these wooden tops have got plastic lifting up. They're not quite flat, but this has got some recesses on the side. It's also got this great little metal fold out clip here, which allows you to hang it off the side of the toolbox, which is another great little feature. And as you can see with that, actually while I'm talking about it, you can also mount the accessories. You can see we've put a little rail on the side here, which again, just gives you a little bit more freedom. You can hang totes off the side or you can put accessories, and it's a great little addition to the range. And as you can see, this whole stack is mounted on the dolly, which is one of my favorite ways of having toolboxes. It means you can have a full stack of drawers, which I love. Other boxes in the UK are the crate, which is pretty cool. I love the latching mechanism for these. They just really quickly latch into place, which is nice. We've also got the tool tote, which is pretty nice. Got a really stout handle on this thing. It's got zip up pockets. It's got like a tape adjustment. Really nice quality thing. And this attaches to the stack pack as like a half box. Fold up the little center latch, hook that under there, and then it just clicks in nice and easy. So that's a pretty cool one. And then in terms of organisers, we've got the half organiser, the standard organiser, and then this is the deep organiser, which is a lot of options for a box that's just launched here in the UK with even more to come. And that's what makes a great modular system at the end of the day. You've got to have lots of options, so you can tailor it to exactly how you need it. You can switch out boxes, and if you're going to invest in a system, you can buy the triple stack and then gradually add more boxes, more organisers. With a growing tool collection, you're buying more things, you're getting more tools and accessories, you can expand your toolbox system. And that is one of the most essential parts of a good modular system, which makes it number 3. So let me show you number 2. So number 2 is a couple of key features that really lift this toolbox above other boxes on the market. Now when it comes to drawers and these garage cabinets, the one that springs to mind is Tough Built, that have equivalents, but the drawers don't lock, or they don't lock yet. There's no solution to a lock and draw system. Well, with Flex's box, they've thought of that, and basically they have a bar that stows away. To the uninitiated, you can't even see where it is, but it's on the side of each of these boxes. There's a little metal tab, and if you pull it, it slides out, and that literally locks the drawers. Obviously you need a padlock, but then you can't get into the cabinet. And then down here, this bar just slots in there, which I think is a critical feature. That was a bit of a miss on the Tough Built, but they've not missed it on this. If you're going to be taking these drawers on a site, you want to be able to lock the box up. You want to be able to make sure no one can just quickly rifle through your drawers, and I think that is a great solution. Another feature which I really like is over here on the triple stack, and that is to do with this handle here. Now, a lot of these rolling toolboxes have a fixed handle that works like this. This is a particularly good one in the fact that it's solid and it's got a nice wide handle. It doesn't have a long level holder built in, but it does have the accessory levels, which is great. Now, with the Milwaukee Packout, the handle isn't removable, and there's a couple of companies that have made kits that you can re-drill the holes and you can make push pins to be able to allow this handle to remove, just to basically bring the height of the rolling box down so it can fit in a pickup bed and just make it easier to store, basically. But they've thought about that with the Flex box, and essentially underneath here they've made a little green tab which just flicks out like that, flicks out like that. Very, very easy to do, and then the whole handle just removes out of the way, which removes about 6 inches of height off the bottom rolling box. Now on the Klein box, this whole mechanism removes and goes even flatter, but the question is, how flat do you need it? Essentially, if you want it to go under a pickup cover, Flex say that this height goes under most tonneau covers on most pickups. So I'm pretty sure that's all you need. And it's nice that they've thought about that and they're not creating any extra work for you if you're struggling with that height. And it goes back in there perfectly easily too. The tabs just flip back into place and then we're back as we were. And another little feature while we're around here is they've put in this locking point here. So you don't just lock the drawers, you can also chain up or lock the box in situ so someone can't just roll the whole stack off with them. And again, that's just a really nice little feature that they've thought about. And the final feature, and probably one of the most important, is how these modular boxes attach to each other. They have a dual latching system, quite similar to the Toughsystem from Dewalt. And what I like about it is they do attach to each other really quickly and really firmly. Once they're attached, there's not much movement in them. And when you want to unlatch them, you don't have to try and hold both sides down, and they're not very stiff. You know, some of the original Toughsystem boxes, Toughsystem 1, they were really hard and they took a lot of force to unlatch the boxes. These are really simple and they're a one-handed operation. So you can literally just unlatch that side and it stays unlatched, unlatch that side and it stays unlatched, and then the box just lifts off and then it just clips back into place nice and easy. And I think when it comes to these modular systems, being able to unstack, restack, move things around without it just doing your head in is pretty critical. And I have to say, Flex Stack Pack is a really solid latch. The box is really clamped together nice and solidly. And another thing to mention is they can go on back to front. I don't know if that's a benefit, but it just means life's a bit easier. If you want to just get everything stacked and get out the door as quick as you can literally just pick them up as they come, click them on the stack, they click really easily, there's a really positive latch and you're out the door. And when it comes to the latching of the toolboxes, a bad latch can pretty much let the whole system down. No matter how durable, no matter how well thought out, if it didn't latch very well, it'd have been a bit of a stinker in my books. But safe to say, the latching system on this Flex doesn't let it down. It is a really, really good system, works really well and feels really solid. And the final thing to note is just the colour and the look of the thing. There's a lot of black toolboxes, so to have one on the market that's grey, looks a bit different. It's got this great little aluminium corner edgings, the handles are really stout and solid, it's got the black details all over it, even the logo's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty standout, cool looking toolbox, which I have to say, if you're proud of your tools and they're all nicely organised and they look great, you look after them, it makes you happier to go to work, you know? And when you're spending a lot of money, you want it to look smart, don't you? And I do think that the Flex system is one of the best looking toolbox systems on the market. So that is number 2. Let me show you number 1. So number 1, the number 1 feature and my favourite standout part about the Flex Stack Pack has to be the mid box and the rolling box, and the way that they've actually thought about the internal organisation, which is a big thing for me. I'm all about tool organisation, and having a modular toolbox system and having everything categorised is part of it, but without internal organisation, these just turn into plastic buckets. But Flex Stack Pack have not ignored the internals, and let me show you how. So as you can see, this middle box has got a couple of really cool things that stand out. First and foremost, it's got gas struts, which means if you've got like the top briefcase full of tools, you're not having to hold the lid up. It'll hold the weight of the top box full of tools. And it just looks really cool and impressive. When you open that box, it's a bit of a showstopper, I think. And if you've got everything organised in here, I think it's going to take it up another level. Now you can see on the back plate here, I've got a few items. Well, let me just remove these so you can see the blank box. This is how it comes. You've got this Stack Pack plate, and Flex have a number of these kind of bit holder cases. They've got a half-size box, they've got this box, they've got numerous different sets and bit sets. I've got in here a nut spinner set, like a long 1/4 inch extension, a load of 1/4 inch bits. I've also got one of their smaller 30-piece bit driver kits, and they friction fit inside these cases as well, which is another reason why I love it. Basically, you can really dial in your organisation. And even though this plate here has only got these very small raised little ridges that these boxes connect into, they connect really well and positively. You can hear the click. It's on there really tight and solid. You can still open the box and access the bits that you need, which makes it, rather than just stowing things away, basically, and making it great for pictures and photographs, which some of the toolkits I've looked at, they just don't seem practical. This one really is practical. You can still access the kits and use them. You can stack more kits on top. You can have 2 or 3 of these on top of each other. They've also got this little pouch here, available in the UK, and it just easily clips on the top with the same kind of latching system. And then this thing folds out and you can have like documents in there or some tools, and I just love it. I just love the fact that they've thought about the inside of the toolbox, and you can organize the lid. And even in the bottom here, you can see they've got these like plastic attachments. Well, these are actually for battery boards that aren't quite yet available in the UK, but I'm sure you could buy them online, get them shipped to the UK, and I'm sure they'll be coming to the UK very soon, because you've already got the plastic holders and then you can have the battery boards in the sides. But have no fear, because what you can get straight away in the UK is shadow foam inserts. inserts. And for those of you that don't know what a shadow foam insert is, well, essentially, we make multi-layered foam inserts that fit perfectly into every toolbox on the market, including the full Flex Stack Pack range. We offer them in a variety of depths and colours. So I've got a twin pack of our Flex Toolbox inserts in 50mm grey. Now we have shadow foam in a whole bunch of colours, but we added grey specifically to match the Flex Stack Pack range and also to give us a neutral dual colour, so you can still see when tools are missing because you've got that dual colour. I really do like the grey, and it's a perfect match for the Flex Stack Pack. So I've got the Flex Stack Pack toolbox here, I've got the inserts. All I need now is something to cut into the foam, and that brings me to Flex's #1 top selling tool. Did you guess what it is? Well, they kindly sent me one, and it is their combi and impact drill kit, their 18-volt drill kit. And look at the size of this box that it came in. It's an absolute monster. So hopefully we can boil this down into one of the stack packs, make it modular, rather than these kind of blow molded cases that they are good. They're better than nothing, but obviously they don't connect to any other box, and that is quite heavy, to be fair. So having that on wheels is a lot better. Now in here, let's have a look what we've got. That fresh tool smell is coming straight out of the box. I've got the combi drill, metal chuck, up to 23 on the torque, and it's got a nice feel into it, nice heavy drill. And we've got two 5Ah batteries. And for those wondering, Flex is red in the UK. In the States, you may have seen this in grey. Well, they are the exact same tools, slightly different voltage for the US market, but basically the exact same thing in a grey version. So they don't have a different model over there. You don't have to worry about trying to get Flex in grey. They are the same. They're just red over here. And they had to be grey in the States because the deal they had with Lowe's, they were already selling Milwaukee, which is famously red. So they didn't want another red tool brand there. So they said, look, we'll stock Flex, but everything has to be grey. And that's why all the tools, the exact same, but in grey over in the States. And it doesn't stop there. We've also got the handle for the combi drill. That's pretty cool. It's not like a circle here. It kind of clamps onto the top of the drill. That's pretty cool. And we've also got a digital charger. And yeah, I definitely can save a bunch of space. That's the problem with these molded cases. There's a whole load of space lost in the molding. This is a beastly little case. It's also got the instructions in a handy little section there, but we don't need those. We don't need the manuals. Let's get that out of the way. So on a shadow foam insert, you can essentially lay these out however you want. You can change up the layouts. You know, let's say you don't ever use that handle. You don't need that in there. You've just got your combi drill, your impactor. We can put the charger in there, and obviously we could put like a pack of impact bits, you could put a pack of drills, you could put another battery. You can lay out your toolbox exactly how you want it, which is the beauty of shadow foam. And a twin pack of inserts, $24.99 in any color you want. Most orders at shadowfoam.com will come free with cutting equipment in one of our cutting packs. Make sure you've got your anti-cut glove on. I usually just wear one on my left hand because this is the hand that's usually in the danger zone. It's holding the items. And then I use the scalpel that comes included in the cutting kits. And basically we just trace cut around each item. And we're just using the scalpel like a pencil to just capture the silhouette on the foam. We don't have to cut very deep. The only thing to remember is it's really important you hold the scalpel perpendicular or square to the item and just capturing as accurate as a silhouette as you can. Once you've trace cut all the way around the item, you can move it out of the way. And at this point, you shouldn't really be able to detect where you've cut, but if you press down on the foam, you can see the cut and the silhouette you've made, and then we're just going to go back and now cut down. We are going to be peeling out about 4 layers here. We're going to be going right down. This is a 50mm insert. I'm probably going to peel out about 40mm worth of material to get a really nice deep recess for the tool. So we want to make sure that we've cut down 40mm at least, if not a little bit more. Once you've cut all the way around, you then just start in a corner, so it doesn't matter which one. I could go for the corners down here or right at the top of the chuck of the drill. And we're just going to push our finger down and then pull up towards yourself. Now you can peel out 1 layer at a time. We can peel out multiple layers. I'm going to go for about 2 layers, 2-3 layers. Once you've got one finger, you can feel the seam parting. You pull it towards yourself. As soon as I can, I'm going to get a couple more fingers under there so I can get a bit more purchase on the foam. And then I'm literally just pulling it towards myself and chasing it along. We're kind of like ploughing the material out. We're not peeling it like a banana from one end. Kind of just working the foam along the seam and peeling it along that layer. And that is the first couple of layers, or the safety drill that we've pulled out to start with. But obviously I'm gonna have to pull out a few more layers to make it deeper so that drill sits in there nice and snug. So let me do that, and that'll be the first item done. So there we go, that is the first slot done for the combi drill. And that sits nice and snug in there. So let's do the exact same thing for the charger and the impactor, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do with the charge lead after I've cut them in. So let's do the impactor. So there we go, that is all cut into the insert, and that looks a lot better than the blow molded case, I would say. Let me know what you think in the comments. For the charger, I've just basically cut in the plug, cut in the lead, and then allowed space for the cable underneath the charger. Just a nice easy way to hide the cable without having to cut a dedicated spot. But obviously the plug is quite chunky, you don't want that underneath the charger. And it's as simple as that when it comes to getting your toolboxes organised with shadow foam. And we don't just have shadow foam inserts for the stack pack, we've got inserts for the Packout, the Toughsystem, the Makita Mac packs, Bosch L boxes, Festool Sustainer, any toolbox on the market, we've got inserts that fit perfectly inside the boxes, all the different shapes and sizes of boxes of every toolbox in a whole bunch of different colours and sizes. So go and grab yours at shadowfoam.com. We've got worldwide shipping with absolutely great rates. Big news at Shadow Foam, we've just reduced all of our worldwide shipping rates by half. So if you've ever been to Shadow Foam and thought the shipping's a bit too expensive to my country, go and check again, because we've just partnered with UPS and got some amazing shipping rates. So go and give it another check, have a look at the shipping rates to your country, and if you're in the UK, it's free shipping anyway, so there's no reason not to get your toolboxes organised. So that's Shadow Foam, that's how you get the boxes organised. The last thing to discuss is the price.
Okay, how much does it cost exactly?
In terms of price, I think the best way to compare the prices is looking at the major retail offering, which is the triple stack, the bottom rolling box, the mid box, and then the top toolbox. That triple stack is available in most systems. That's always a great starting point. So you can pick up a Milwaukee Packout triple stack most places at around about £250. Obviously, these are the price I found at the time of this video, so they do change. Sometimes you can pick up deals in sales or clearance, stuff like that. But typically, triple stack Milwaukee Packout, 250 quid. The Dewalt Toughsystem triple stack, you can find commonly at about £200. The Tough Built triple stack, which is one of my personal favourites, I really rate the Tough Built system, that's £275 for the triple stack. And where does the Flex come in? Well, it's around about the same level as the Tough Built. You're looking £270, £280 for the triple Flex stack. And what are you getting for that? Well, we've talked about some of the positives. You've got a great line of accessories, you've got the gas struts in the mid box, you've got the usable space in the lid of the mid box, and I think there's a lot of clever design points to the Flex stack pack, which for me feels like it justifies a slightly higher cost. But let me know in the comments what you think of the pricing, what you think of the boxes, and if you've got a Flex stack pack, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So let me know down in the comments what you think. I do read all the comments and I reply to as many as I can, so I would love to hear your thoughts on the Flex stack pack. And with all that being said, that is the Flex stack pack review. It's been a great toolbox to look at, some truly novel features and interesting things to look at that set this toolbox apart from the rest of the market. But like I say, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think of it? But thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.